Welcome to the Ambitious Coach Podcast. This is a place where driven, determined coaches learn how to get off the business growth struggle bus and learn how to build a wildly profitable online coaching business. I'm your host, Allison Henderson, corporate dropout to six-figure social media business coach. I'm going to show you how I've been able to create the business of my dreams organically, all through utilizing my social media platforms. So pull up a seat, take some notes, and get ready to see your life and bank account transform. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are diving into one of my least favorite sales call objections. I have to talk with my husband. So I want to share with you how I personally handle this when it comes up on a sales call, plus my exact follow-up process. So you're never left wondering, when do I follow up? Or do I have to wait till they message me? Or how do I not come across as pushy or desperate? These are all the things that we're going to talk about today. So before I get started, I wanted to make sure that you knew that I only had a few openings this month for one-on-one clients. If you are serious about building your business this year, I want to invite you into my one-on-one coaching program. I have helped hundreds of sleep consultants and coaches grow their businesses over the last 7 years. And here's what I know. Success isn't about always working harder. It's about having the right foundation to successfully set yourself up in a place so that sales and marketing feels so much easier for you and actually works for you. Inside my one-on-one coaching program, I'll help you build out everything your business actually needs to sign consistent clients. Your sales pages, I'll give you a full website audit. We'll go deeper into your content strategy because I really want your content to convert your followers into paying clients. We'll also talk about your sales call script and just confidence to handle sales call objections like the one that we're talking about today. And we'll map out your DM strategy so that you know exactly what to say to have those conversations to get your followers on sales calls. I'll give you a proven daily action plan so that you can grow your following to fill up your lead list and your sales pipeline. And here's why this foundation really matters to me. Most sleep consultants and coaches who are struggling right now aren't failing because they don't care or don't have the expertise and the education. They're failing because they don't have a clear, proven strategy and a plan to have them sign consistent clients. They're guessing what to post, they're winging their sales calls, and they're really just hoping people magically DM them to book a sales call or just magically find them on the internet. And that's exhausting. And it can feel so defeating and daunting, especially after months of trying so hard. So with me, you'll know exactly what to do every single day to move your business forward and hit your income goals. And finally, really be able to wake up feeling at ease, knowing that you have a real plan to sign consistent clients. Having 5K months should not be hard. There are thousands of people right now needing your help. They just need to find a way to find you. But also, I want you knowing how to create clients for yourself whenever you want. So in my one-on-one coaching, you'll get weekly coaching calls with me, plus voice and text support Monday through Friday, so that you do have support and strategy in real time. You'll also get access to all of my signature business courses like Making Moves and Social Selling 101. If you are ready to finally have a business that consistently books clients and actually supports your family, this is the coaching container for you. So if you want to learn more and to make sure this program is a good fit for you, click the link in my show notes that just says Work One-on-One with Allison. All right, so let's dive into this week's episode. We're going to talk about my least favorite sales call objection. I have to talk with my husband. I say it's my least favorite because it's, in my opinion, kind of a cop-out. Like, I almost hope that a lot of these people spoke with their spouses or partners or whatever we want to call them before this call. Most healthy relationships, out of common courtesy, should run past any big financial decisions with their partner. I get that. That isn't a bad thing. However, it sucks when the husband isn't on the call and the wife has to sell him on whatever it is that you guys have been talking about. He probably doesn't get it as much as she thinks he might. And therefore, it leaves you with that hope of, I really hope she isn't confused on what it is that you're actually selling to her, okay? That's why it's so important that you ask questions and really make sure that your sales page is fully buttoned up. So after the sales call, they aren't going, I'm so confused on what we're buying, right? Remember, a confused mind will not buy. So let's talk about what to actually say in the moment when you're on that sales call and this mom or this woman is going, okay, great, thanks. I have all the info, but let me just talk with my husband. I would suggest starting with, what do you feel he's going to say about this? What do you feel would be his hesitations or concerns? The person might say the price. And then therefore it turns into a price objection. So then you can say things like, well, I do offer a payment plan. Do you think that would help? Like you can go into more of those sort of things. However, it might just be that maybe he doesn't want her to do this, or he doesn't, if I know a lot of you that are listening are sleep consultants, maybe he's just not fully into sleep training or whatever it is that you're offering. Okay. You could just say, does he fully understand what you're going through right now? Right? A lot of the times men don't necessarily understand that these women are struggling, right? And so when we ask questions like that, like, hey, if he has had a real conversation about what you're going through right now, does he understand how this could really be so life-changing and transformational for your whole family? So just let her talk. Maybe there are some things that you can coach her through to help her pitch your program, okay? You want her as prepared as possible to sell her partner on your coaching experience. But once again, remember, a confused mind will not buy. So make sure she is so clear on your offer before you hang up that phone. And I know with some of your programs, it might be helpful to have the husband on the call. If that is the case for you and you feel confident about that, then set up another time for him to be on the call too. I personally, I don't want to talk with husbands, okay? Like, do not get him on the call. But I know with sleep consultants or like potty training experts or parenting coaches, it might be helpful since it's more of a family program, not just a mom or a woman handling all the day-to-day action steps. And a big thing to remember is don't forget to set up a time to follow up. You might say something like, okay, great, go chat with your husband about this. If he has any questions, hesitations, or concerns, please reach out to me via, Instagram or email, wherever you guys have been corresponding. And then can say like, after this call, I'll send you a follow-up email about what we spoke about. And I'll also send you my offer page so that you can both review it together. How does that sound? Okay. But you also want to make sure that you're setting up a time. So that email will go into detail about everything that you guys are going to work on together, and also the investment and all that sort of stuff. And if you have a payment plans, put that all in that welcome email. It's not really a welcome email. It's like a post-sales call email. Okay. A welcome email to me is a little bit different because a welcome email is like literally giving them all the details about the whole coaching container. But a post-sales call email, it just might be like straight up, like, these are all the things that we spoke about. These are the things we're going to work on together. Here's the investment. Here's the payment plan. Or here's also the next steps. If you want to invest, here's a link to purchase. You might not even be at that point yet, and that's fine. But it's really important that you do send something afterwards, especially your sales pages, because maybe that's something that he reviews, and that's what really convinces him to buy this offer, okay? And then you're going to say something like, I'll follow up with you by, like, in a couple days. I'd say 24 to 48 hours is plenty of time for somebody to speak with their spouse, okay? Usually, I don't know, my husband and I are home together a lot, but if it's a really big thing that I want to do and it is something that I'm excited about, I'm talking with him that day. I'm going to be texting with him immediately after that sales call, likely. However, not everybody's relationship is like mine. I get that. So I would say 48 hours tops, unless they're maybe a shift worker or, maybe they're gone longer hours or something like that. And hopefully you guys talked about that on the call. Like, that's something that maybe you guys spoke about of like, yeah, he's actually a shift worker or something, right? So you would just say something like, I'll follow up with you on Wednesday and see how you guys are both feeling about moving forward. If you both agree that you are ready, please just email me and I'll make sure to send you over all the necessary links and documents to get started. How does that sound? And if she's like, okay, that sounds great. Okay, great. Awesome. So now let's talk about the next step, which would be following up. So she didn't reach back out over those 48 hours or so. Keep it short and simple, okay? The follow-up shouldn't be like a crazy long paragraph trying to convince her to move forward or anything like that. I've seen those before where it's like, but this is why you need to buy this. It's like, no, we're not doing that here, all right? We definitely don't want to come off as salesy or slimy or desperate or awkward or anything weird, right? Keep it short and simple. You would just say, hey, blank, so whatever, use her first name, duh. Hope you had a chance to chat with your husband. What were your thoughts on moving forward? Or you can say, hey, did you have a chance to chat with your partner? Did he have any questions, hesitations, or concerns? Once again, keep it really simple. All right, now let's say you did follow up and she says something like, well, my husband still thinks it's too expensive. What she actually is saying is, well, they can't afford it. And that's a different objection altogether. That's when I'll bring up the payment plan option again. If we didn't get a chance to really maybe go into detail on the sales call, because sometimes you just, and I know some of you don't want to talk about money. But yeah, you want to make sure that they are fully aware of all your payment plans. or any other offers that you might have at the price point that she's comfortable with. So you might have to ask her that too. Like, what is that price point that you might be comfortable with investing when it comes to XYZ? Sometimes it's a straight up like, hey, like I'm really firm on my pricing. So you don't have to necessarily say that, but all you can say is, hey, I totally understand where you're coming from. I will be here for you when you're ready. And it's as simple as that. Because I know that there's sometimes, especially for like my 3-month or 6-month coaching program, I don't have budget on my price on that. I just don't. I might extend a longer payment plan option, but I'm not going to sit there and go, I'll give it to you for $2,000 when it's really $3,000, right? So it's important that you're really staying confident and understanding that you just don't need to negotiate if you don't want to. And if you do have something at that price point that you want to give her, like another option, that's totally fine too. I call those back pocket offers. And you could go into more detail about that in a DM conversation or an email, okay? All right, so let me wrap this up. I want to remind you that I want you to keep track of this stuff. It is a numbers game when it comes to leads and just tracking your conversations. So please use a spreadsheet, like it could be Airtable, Google Sheets, just somewhere. It could be a notepad, whatever you got to do to keep organized. So write down who you talk to, when you need to follow up with them, what are their hesitations, or what was really the thing that was stopping them from saying yes on the call today. I just want you to be organized so it's easier for you to see patterns in your sales process. If you're noticing that every single sales call of yours, they're all saying, I have to talk with my husband, then you might want to set something up before the sales call that in an email that says, hey, I know that you might want to talk with your husband or he's a big part of this decision. Would it be okay if he came on the call? Or, hey, here's my actual page, my offer page that talks about my package and what it's all about so that they can review all of the details of your program before this woman or possibly husband gets on that sales call. So it's really important that you are closing majority of your sales calls because the hardest part is actually getting them on the call. Right? That is the hardest part. It's like you did all the work, you did the content, you were having maybe a DM conversation with them. And then you get them on the call and it's like, yes, I finally got them on the call. Because you do feel, I know a lot of people feel this way, like I can convince them once we're on the call. And then bam, they come up with this objection of, I have to talk with my husband, right? Blah. So it's, to me, just so important that you're keeping track of this stuff so you can see your patterns. And I personally want you closing about 80% of your sales calls. So a lot of that convincing, so I'm having that in air quotes because I really don't feel like you're convincing anybody. It's like, it's like, to me, that feels really icky. But like all the convincing that you're the coach for them is all done before the sales call through your content, through your sales pages, through your energy on social media. Okay. So I say that because I think it's really important that when you go onto these sales calls, you can kind of chill and relax a little bit because there really shouldn't be much selling. It should just be listening to them a bit and just really making sure you're both a good fit to work together, answering any of those hesitations or concerns that she might have, and then enrolling them into your program, okay? So the next time you do hear, I have to talk with my husband, I want you just to take a deep breath and remind yourself, it's not the end of the world, okay? And this is not your last lead. It's definitely not your last client, and it's definitely not a reason to stop selling. Respect their space, respect their marriage or whatever, their partnership. Follow up intentionally, but keep moving forward. Do not wait for that client to close. Move on to the next client, move on to the next lead, move on to the next conversation because you're literally one conversation always away from your next client. So if you're like waiting around like, they're going to close. Okay, cool, great. But also keep selling so you can get more leads, so you can get on more sales calls. I see this all the time where people are in this waiting energy and I'm like, I don't want you in waiting energy. I want you in moving and momentum energy where you're constantly getting yourself on sales calls and not waiting for that one to close. All right. So hopefully that helped you a bit in my mentality around sales calls and just these objections. But it's so important that you know that you can create clients for yourself whenever you want. So if you do want some help with your sales strategy, make sure that you check out that link in the show notes to work with me. And happy selling. I'll see you again next Monday, everyone. All right, talk soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Ambitious Coach podcast today. A couple favors before you go. If you found this episode helpful, please take a screenshot and share it on Instagram. Most importantly, don't forget to tag me at Allison Henderson _coach. That's ALLISON Henderson _coach. And lastly, please take a minute to rate this episode and leave a raving review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen. Okay, ambition is great, but it's time to get to work. Take action and commit to being 1% better every day. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again next week.